Welcome Capricorn Ascendant, Capricorn Rising. This is for your March, your beginning of March frequency grid outlook. I'm going to talk about the full moon that occurs at the beginning of March and also some of the other attending energies that surround this full moon. So we're going to go from the 1st to about the 10th to the 14th. I'm going to break it down, tell you about the sun and the Neptune and moon and what that all means when they're conjunct and on top of each other and opposing each other, and how it's going to be a time, could be a time of high delusions plus high emotions. So let's dig deep into all astrology. Right in the beginning of March, we're going to have a full moon. And if you've listened to the past videos I did for February, I talk about a moment of clarity coming, and it is in the beginning of March. When we come to March 7th, all right, at this time, Mars is already done being out of bounds. We have the sun at like 17, 18 degrees of Pisces. Mercury is at the butt end of Aquarius. Mercury is actually at like 28, 29 degrees. And Mercury's going extremely slow, okay? Mercury is going to start moving forward in like a day or two, all right? And that's the time period I give between the 10th and the 14th when we should have some clarity. In addition to this, we have the sun coming around at that 17 degree, and then the sun the very next day goes to 18 degrees, and that is where the planet Neptune is in Pisces. So Neptune and the sun together represents a time of high sensitivity. We all become very intuitively empathic. We can feel more. We feel what others are feeling. It's not something we can look at logically and rationally. It's a knowing, all right? So this happens differently. The degree of this happens differently dependent upon you, depend upon each individual and how they are and where they're at on their path of evolution, right? How sensitive are you? What does your chart look like, right? So there are varying degrees of how this will look. For those of you who are already very psychic, very empathic, this is a day of heightened sensitivities, so you want to be careful. And when I say this is a day, this is going to start like March 7th. So you will start receiving more information than you're used to receiving. It is the sun and Neptune together. Neptune's job is to dissolve the 3D material realm, okay? So the sun is your health and your vitality. So that is also a day when you could physically feel more tired. It is also a time when we could have less resistance to any substances, whether that's, liquid, by way of alcohol or drugs or cannabis, right? Anything at all that you take, whether it's just for pleasure, for leisure, or if it's medications. Because I know quite a few folks where they realize that at these times, it doesn't take much to put them, under, right? For them to go to sleep, for them to feel at ease, or for it to take away the pain. They need less during this time. Now, the sun, it's a fast transit, so I'm not going to spend much more time talking about it, other than you could very much feel more than you've normally felt. And that means picking up upon those in your immediate surroundings, people you are close to, or then again, they don't even have to be in your immediate surroundings. These could be folks that you have bonded with. So they could be anywhere in the world, and you could be picking up on them, right? We all have those experiences, like, I was just thinking about you, and they call, right? That whole thing. So there's going to be different varying degrees of that in your life. When March 8th, 9th, 10th come around, okay, we have when the moon starts swinging into direct opposition. So down here, we're going to have the sun and we're going to have Neptune, right? They meet up at 18 degrees. And then the full moon swings around in Virgo energy, which is the direct opposite of that Piscean energy. And if I didn't mention that, yes, 18 degrees, Neptune is in Pisces. I apologize if I didn't say that already. But the moon comes swinging around down here and sits here and completely directly aspects the opposition to the sun at 19 degrees and 37 minutes in Virgo. So this is our Virgo full moon. And this is on the 10th of March. Now at this time, recognize that the day before, when the moon was at 18 degrees, it was in direct opposition to Neptune, okay? So now we have to talk about full moon energy, which is the same as every other full moon, except this is a little bit different. It's slightly more, could be delusional, okay? Because of the fact that Neptune's involved. So not only are our emotions heightened, but the light was shined down upon something, and that something that the light was beaming on, we think it's reality. We think it's real. We think it's 3D, okay? But recognize the Neptune effect. The Neptune effect is it might not be in the 3D world. If it's in your house of communication, which, if you are a Capricorn ascendant, Capricorn rising, it is in your third house. This is where your Piscean energy is. This is where your Mercury retrograde was happening. This is where you're asked to wait before you make any decisions because things are confusing and unclear. And so when the moon opposes Neptune at 18 degrees, it adds to the confusion, okay? So when I say to wait till after the 10th, okay, because on the 10th is literally when that full moon happens. And so then at that point, we get some sort of the light being shined down. So there is truth there. But because we're so full of emotions, we want to act right at that moment. And I'm asking you, because you do have clarity, you're going to wait a little bit, all right? And that could be simply waiting one day, right? Because once that one day passes, the moon moves. The moon is no longer sitting directly opposing Neptune. You should see more clearly. You should be able to see what is literally in the 3D and what is not, okay? And then you will have an idea, a clearer understanding of what's going on. So this is in areas, Capricorns, this is that third house. The third house where there may be communications, whether on social media or face-to-face, with siblings, with neighbors, co-workers, people in your immediate environment that you're having communications with. So that could be emails, right? That could be reading stuff on Facebook or whatever and thinking, did that person just say that? Right? And it affecting you, it bothering you, it hurts your feelings. It's miscommunications. This is a time when it's a real test. It's a real test. It's the Neptune test. It really is, because it's Neptune conjunct the sun, which already puts us in a sensitive mode to what other people are feeling. And does make us, it is a great energy for being sensitive to others and willing to compromise for others because you understand where they're coming from. But then it's like the very next day we have this swing. So what I'm hoping at this time, because this will hit everybody differently, depends if you have any natal planets that match these degrees on how intense this could get. If you don't have any natal planets at these degrees, what I'm hoping this will look like is simply a balanced energy. That the sun conjunct Neptune will make you, will help you to innately understand somebody and where they're coming from and why they're feeling what they're feeling, while at the same time raising the spotlight of the sun, the moon coming down and shining on the sun and shining on Neptune and exaggerating things. Not so much exaggerating, but sort of confusing things even more, making things more fuzzier. The way it looks like is this energy could be balanced. It could be a time of balance. Again, find out what you have, because if you were to have a moon in either location at this degree, in Pisces or in Virgo, that would knock this out of balance even more. So if you don't know these things, just comment below. If you're new here, this is all astrology. Comment your numbers below. We'll hook you up. We'll take care of you. All you got to do is contribute by commenting, by being active. And trust me, you'll learn so much more about yourself by engaging and not being dependent on us, but learning as we learn so that we can all grow as a community. So I hope this helps, Capricorn Ascendant, Capricorn Rising. Remember the dates from the 10th to the 14th is when we get clarity. But be aware of those degrees that I mentioned so that you're not making snap judgments. And if you have planets, you want to get somebody else's opinion to find out, is this real or am I just being overly emotional? All right, hope this has helped to put some light on your path.